In every generation, certain individuals rise with a profound sense of calling. They carry a sacred weight, a divine mission etched into their very souls. These are the prophets, the leaders, the ministers, and the spiritual warriors. They walk in anointing, speak with authority, and often carry a mantle that influences many. Yet, beneath their public victories lies a private battlefield that few speak of: the war with lust. Why does lust, of all temptations, strike so fiercely at those called to higher purposes? Why is this particular struggle so prevalent, persistent, and paralyzing among those who seem most devoted to spiritual excellence? This question cannot be answered with surface-level reasoning. It demands a deep dive into spiritual dynamics, emotional roots, psychological realities, and the very design of spiritual gifting and human vulnerability. This essay explores the hidden conflict that rages within many who are set apart for divine purposes. It unpacks 5 profound reasons why lust seems to uniquely target those with high spiritual callings. More than just diagnosing the problem, it offers a path toward healing, restoration, and lasting victory. Spiritual sensitivity is a gift, one that allows individuals to discern divine movement, hear heavenly whispers, and perceive the spiritual atmosphere around them. But this gift, like all gifts, comes with responsibility and risk. It also means being more attuned to temptation. When someone is spiritually sensitive, they don't just sense the presence of God more acutely. They also become aware of darker influences. Lust is one of the most insidious of these forces. It doesn't always appear overtly. It can manifest in subtle thoughts, feelings, or imaginations. For someone whose inner life is highly active and deeply spiritual, even a fleeting temptation can feel overwhelming. Temptation is not just a matter of the flesh. It is also spiritual warfare. Ephesians 6 verse 12 reminds us that our struggle is not merely against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and spiritual forces of evil. For those set apart for ministry, this means that their battle is not confined to the external world. It takes place in the mind, the soul, and the spiritual realm. The spiritually sensitive are like finely tuned antennas. They pick up signals from both the divine and the demonic. What might be a passing temptation for someone else becomes a full-blown spiritual conflict for them. The enemy exploits their openness, using lust to distract, entangle, and ultimately derail their mission. Moreover, these individuals often feel temptation more deeply because their hearts are more tender. They are aware when their thoughts drift or their motives skew. They feel the weight of impurity not just as a moral failing, but as a relational rift between them and God. This makes the battle with lust not only more intense, but more emotionally and spiritually painful. Those with a divine calling often walk a path that few can understand. This path, while rich in spiritual experience, can be marked by profound loneliness. Spiritual isolation is not uncommon for prophets, leaders, and those set apart. Their visions, convictions, and burdens may not resonate with those around them. And in this isolation, hidden battles thrive. Solitude can be holy. Jesus himself retreated to solitary places to pray. But when solitude becomes isolation, it can be dangerous. Without a trusted circle of accountability, struggles like lust become internalized. The enemy is strategic. He does not waste his attacks on those with little influence. His fiercest battles are reserved for those with the greatest potential. If a leader can be taken down, so can the faith of many who follow. Lust is one of his favorite weapons for this task. Consider the biblical figures who fell to this temptation: David, Solomon, Samson. Each was chosen, anointed, and mightily used by God. Each had a moment where lust became their undoing. These are not stories of weak men. They are stories of strong men who let their guard down. Lust offers a unique form of warfare. It doesn't just affect the body. It attacks identity. It whispers lies about worth, power, and satisfaction. It pulls chosen individuals away from their mission, subtly at first, then forcefully. And once they fall, the enemy capitalizes on their shame. The cost of compromise is high. A single moment of failure can damage years of faithful ministry. It can fracture marriages, destroy reputations, and cause entire communities to question God. This is why the warfare is so intense for those with great callings. The stakes are enormous, but this awareness should not lead to fear. It should lead to vigilance. Chosen ones must be strategic in their defense. They must understand that their calling makes them a target and live accordingly. Spiritual disciplines, accountability, and wise boundaries are not optional, they are essential. Lust is rarely about sex. More often, it is about soothing pain. Emotional wounds, rejection, abandonment, betrayal, abuse, create voids in the soul. Lust offers a counterfeit comfort, promises validation, intimacy, and control, but it delivers only shame and deeper brokenness. Many called individuals carry unhealed wounds. They are compassionate because they have suffered. They are empathetic because they have been hurt. But when those wounds go unaddressed, they become entry points for the enemy. The pressure to be healed or whole can lead the called to suppress their pain. They believe they must have it all together. But suppressed wounds do not disappear. They manifest in hidden ways. Lust becomes a way to escape, to feel alive, to feel wanted. Healing requires courage. It means revisiting old hurts, confronting lies, and receiving divine truth. It may involve counseling, inner healing, and persistent prayer. It requires choosing vulnerability over image. But the reward is freedom. When wounds are healed, lust loses its grip. Spiritual gifts are not the same as spiritual maturity. A person can be powerfully anointed and deeply broken at the same time. This paradox confuses many. How can someone preach with power but struggle with sin? The answer lies in understanding that gifts are given by grace, not earned by holiness. God often uses imperfect vessels, but being used by God does not mean one is exempt from discipline. Without consistent practices of prayer, fasting, study, and self-examination, even the most gifted can fall. Lust exploits this imbalance. It whispers, "You're still being used, so you must be fine." But gifting without character is a trap. It leads to pride, secrecy, and eventual collapse. Discipline is the bridge between gifting and holiness. Accountability is key. No one overcomes in isolation. Community provides perspective, challenge, and support. Transparency breaks the power of shame. And divine grace gives strength where human willpower fails. Lust is not just a personal weakness. It is a calculated assault on those destined for greatness. It thrives in spiritual sensitivity, exploits isolation, intensifies under greater callings, preys on emotional wounds, and hides behind spiritual gifts. But the battle is not hopeless. Those who understand the nature of the war can learn to fight wisely. Through spiritual discipline, emotional healing, accountability, and grace, freedom is possible. Victory is not about perfection. It's about persistent pursuit of holiness. Those who overcome this battle become powerful witnesses. Their testimony carries weight. Their compassion deepens. Their leadership becomes more authentic. They no longer minister from a platform of performance, but from a place of redemption. To be chosen is to be targeted, but it also means being equipped. The same Spirit that called is the Spirit that empowers. No temptation is greater than God's grace, and no failure is beyond His restoration. The war is real, but so is the victory.